Hey everybody. Apparently there was more to the stream. It got uh, interrupted, and I want to go ahead and let it play through the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and start playing this what was a live council meeting from City of Akron, and they do not allow you to comment on their channel. So comment here, let them know what you think. I'm gonna go ahead and play the rest of this. It looks like I either missed out on it or it stopped. We'll see.
Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. At this time, that does conclude our public comment period. I want to thank all of those who have come down
Hey,
to
William.
participate in this process. Thank you. And I'm going to ask that you please maintain order. I am going to allow the demonstration to happen. There was a request to stand for the amount of minutes in which Jasmine laid there, and so we will allow you to peacefully do so, okay? Thank you. Council, before you is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
The consent agenda passes 13-0.
We'll now move to our old business, budget and finance. Councilman Lombardo.
Read that. Read it.
Sure, I can read that in. The item under time or on the new regular agenda is an ordinance amending ordinance number 110-2024 passed March 25th, 2024, which established the annual appropriation for the current expenses, other expenditures, and the capital outlays of the city of Akron for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
Hey, Nerdy.
Madam President, the committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing.
And I have not been to a city council meeting, and I need to go to one. I don't understand why all their votes are an emergency. And I've been watching it for a while, but every single vote that the city council of Akron does is an emergency.
Hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. I mean, oftentimes this happens that the original budget needs adjusted and to include expenditures from various departments. Thank you.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 13-0.
Planning and Economic Development, Councilman Fusco.
Yes, the first item, number 5. The request of the committee is for suspension of the rules with a favorable report.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. This is the agreement we have with East Akron Neighborhood Development Corporation and the Middlebury Center Limited Liability Corporation. This is the area that houses Dave's Market, and it's restructuring the agreement and ensuring that they stay there for as long as the agreement is in place. It's been amended. And so with that, after discussion last week, we asked that council will be given an opportunity to look it over, forward questions. That's been completed. And so now we're asking for approval this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kind of helps when I turn on the microphone, right? Anyways, they were talking about Dave's Marketplace, and I actually worked there. I used to be working in the deli. I'd cut the cheese, and nobody really got offended about it. I worked in the fish department, and washing my hands was awesome. Worked in hot foods as well, but I made people laugh. I told my union rep that I was asked to run for city council under a Republican ticket, and he thought I was uh, an idiot. But whatever, screw him. Hey, Northwoods, good to see you too. Anyways, this is the city council in Akron, Ohio, and yeah, let's watch them rule over us.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 13-0.
Councilman Fusco? Time will be granted. Public Safety, Councilman McKittrick?
Continued time, please.
Time will be granted. That concludes our old business. We'll now move into new legislation, starting with Budget and Finance.
Item number 1, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of advertising for bids with Sikich LLP for project management services on behalf of the city in implementing the Odyssey case management system for the clerk of courts and the Akron Municipal Court and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo,
Consent agenda, please.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 2, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts with Tyler Technologies to complete implementation of the Odyssey case management system and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo,
Consent agenda.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 3, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent or their designee to enter into an agreement or agreements without the formality of advertising for bids with Amazon, Granger, and WB Mason for the purchase of miscellaneous supplies and small dollar purchases used by various divisions and departments of the city for a period of 1 year, authorizing payment therefore and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo,
Consent agenda.
this item will also be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 4, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent or their designee to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of advertising for bids for the purchase of annual subscriptions and maintenance packages for the software currently used by various departments of the city through December 31st, 2025, and declaring an emergency.
Hey,
Councilman
Judge.
Lombardo,
Consent agenda.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 5, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent or their designee to enter into a contract or contracts after publicly advertising for bids for the purchase of materials and services needed by the various divisions and departments of the city for a period of time not to exceed 5 years, approving the specifications therefore and declaring an emergency.
From the sounds of things outside, I should be outside right now recording. And I will make a mental note of that. Don't you worry, because they're going to be protesting in Akron for quite a while. So I'm going to do this from inside tonight, to show what the city council's dealing with all these people outside shouting, and who knows, maybe tomorrow night I'll be downtown Akron recording all the people outside shouting. We'll see.
Councilman Lombardo,
Consent agenda, please.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 6, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the purchasing agent or their designee to enter into an agreement or agreements without the formality of advertising for bids for the purchase of miscellaneous supplies, services, repair parts, and labor for machinery and equipment used by various divisions and departments of the city for a period of 1 year, authorizing payment therefore and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo.
Once again, consent agenda, please.
Thank you. This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 7, offered by Lombardo, ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into, execute, and deliver a cooperative agreement with the Development Finance Authority of Summit County in connection with the issuance of bonds by the authority to finance the cost of certain improvements to Canal Park Stadium and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardo.
The committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. Yes, our gem in downtown Akron, Canal Park. Normally scoreboards last about 10 years. We got 11 out of it. So according to this lease agreement, the city is, agreed to make certain improvements to the stadium. Thank you.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 13-0.
They just said, let's buy more lights for our stadium in downtown Akron that nobody goes to. I mean, they'll get about 50% full, but they just passed an ordinance where this is disgusting. This is a one-sided government. There is nobody to object to anything here. We have the worst government in Akron. No, we don't. We have the worst government everywhere. Disgusting, foul. They care nothing about us. They just want to take our money and use it, so that. Oh, wait a minute. On the right, the second guy on the right, closest to the bitch in the purple dress, the guy to her right, that guy there, I was at his son's wedding, I believe. I believe that's the guy that was having a wedding when I was recording downtown and didn't realize what was going on. Oh, wrong window. Got to hit play here.
Item number 8, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing the Director of the Department of Planning and Urban Development or their designee to enter into a contract or contracts with nonprofit community development organizations for the provision of neighborhood revitalization initiatives in order to carry out the intent and purpose of programs under the Consolidated Plan for Housing and Community Development for the year 2024, authorizing payment therefore and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent.
The guy's standing there. Let me move back here. That guy's standing right there on the right. I swear I was recording outside the Akron Art Museum when it was his son getting married. And I was pretty sure it was a government employee because of the way that the police interacted with me. But that looks exactly like the guy that confronted me that night. You just check out my videos. There's a wedding. People scared at a wedding behind glass walls or something like that. I don't remember how I titled the video. It was over a year ago.
Payment therefore and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 9, offered by Fusco, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into an agreement or agreements to grant an easement on city-owned property on lot number 94 in Burton Township, Ohio, to the Cleveland Electric Illuminating Company for the purposes of maintaining an electrical substation and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 9A, offered by Fusco, Ordinance declaring improvements to certain parcels of real property to be a public purpose, requiring the owners of the improvements thereon to make service payments in lieu of taxes, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of such service payments and related authorizations pursuant to sections 5709.40, 5709.42, and 5709.43 of the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Consent agenda.
This item will be
Welcome back, Jack. Yeah, I think their live kind of ended quick, but I decided to go back and see. But Jeff Fusco, I think Jeff Fusco is. I'll have to look more into him, but I'm pretty sure that I was recording his son's wedding in Akron at the art museum. But he looks exactly like the guy that approached me. We'll see. I'll do some more investigations. Oh, can't click play on that screen. Got to go to this one.
placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 9B, offered by Fusco, ordinance declaring certain improvements to real property located in the Eastgate Urban Renewal Area and the Eastgate 2 Urban Renewal Area to be a public purpose and exempt from real property taxation, providing for the collection of service payments in lieu of taxes and the deposit of those service payments in the appropriate fund, providing for the payment of a portion of the service payments to the Akron Public School District, all pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Sections 5709.41 to 5709.43, the Act, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you.
Consent
Councilman Fusco.
agenda.
This item will also be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 10, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of publicly advertising for bids with Rexel to upgrade outdated filter controls at the water plant and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 11, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of publicly advertising for bids with Rexel to upgrade the high service pump controls and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Consent agenda.
These, excuse me, I might have been smoking some, but these council agendas move faster than I've seen any city council meeting because this is the most corrupt you can be. I mean, they're all bed buddies in this. Yeah, declare an emergency. What I don't get it. Every time they post something up here, declare an emergency, and it's that purple fucking, excuse my language, bitch up there that hates me recording her, and I can't wait to do it again. It's her saying it. I don't get it. I declare an emergency. Everything can't be an emergency. I burnt my toast. It's an emergency. I clogged my toilet. Yeah, that's an emergency, but you could probably figure it out or call a plumber. These people, I don't understand where the hell I live.
Item number 12, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after publicly advertising for bids for the construction and improvements to the water mains on Hudson Aurora Road and Herrick Park Drive in the City of Akron water service area and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 13, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to apply for and if awarded, accept and expend grant funds from the Ohio EPA recycling grant for the Akron Public Works Yard Waste Organics and Recycling Curbside, otherwise known as Yard Work Program, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 14, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of publicly advertising for bids with Davy Resource Group, Inc. for a comprehensive tree inventory and tree canopy assessment and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you, Madam President. This is basically
So everything's an emergency. Let's suspend all the rules. Let's rule Akron like we're oligarchs or some bullshit. And, let's destroy people's lives that live there. Let's take away their rights. Let's have our police shoot anyone they want and cover up their cameras. I mean, when I was arrested, they put their fingers over the camera lens and they turned off their microphones, but they didn't turn off my phone, which caught those pigs saying how they would love to beat the shit out of me while I was in handcuffs. And they couldn't delete that. They couldn't stop that. They couldn't coerce about that. They got fucked. They had to be recorded. But did that do anything? No, because who polices the police? The police. And these corrupt pieces of garbage, the city council. And wait till I show you videos of Shameless Malik. He's our mayor. Mayor Shameless Malik. Shameless Malik, I call him.
to continue our relationship with Davie Resource Group, and it will allow 2 studies, one inside the city limits here to go and do a updated canopy study with our street trees, and the other one is to focus on Portage and Geauga counties with our watershed areas, and we're asking for passage. Thanks.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 13-0. Item number 15, offered by Kamer. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after publicly advertising for bids for improvements to certain water mains as part of the 2024 Water Main Replacement Program and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer,
Consent agenda.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 16, offered by Kamer. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after publicly advertising for bids or requesting and receiving requests for qualifications for professional design of the Castle Boulevard Storm Outlet Project, and to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Summit Metro Parks to acquire and demolish the property at 787 Castle Boulevard and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer,
Consent agenda.
this item will also be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 17, offered by McKittrick. Ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of publicly advertising for bids with language line for the provision of foreign language interpretations services for the Akron Police Department and declaring an emergency.
Councilman McKittrick,
Thank you, Madam President. The committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
This is a company that the city's done business with before. We have a large population in the immigrant community, and this is to help with interpretation with those folks. And to continue that contract, we're asking for passage tonight.
Okay, thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 13-0.
That concludes our new legislation for this evening. We'll now move into committee assignments, rules. Councilman McKittrick,
2 p.m.,
Public Safety, Councilman McKittrick,
2:15.
Budget and Finance, Councilman Lombardo,
3 p.m.
Parks and Recreation, Councilwoman Connor, Planning and Economic Development, Councilman Fusco, Housing and Neighborhood Assistance, Councilman Fusco, Public Service, Councilman Kamer, Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian.
2:30.
Thank you. Is there anything else coming before council at this time? Councilwoman Davis?
Yeah, and I I really don't like this city. I I don't want to be here. I just am here. And as a result, this is where I will be doing most of my audits. But I think I'm just going to stick to Akron for a while and just audit the shit out of them. I mean, this town needs an enema. I'm not a proctologist, but I can help out with this. I hope I can. If anybody else in Ohio wants to help me, I know a few of you are out there and I do enjoy working with you, but we need more people to pick up cameras and we need more people to fight for our rights.
President, we are really at a reflection point in this city. I watched the video of Jasmine. I watched it as a councilwoman, but more so I watched it as a mother. And my concern is the concerns that I've heard here from the audience, from the mayor and others. Why did it take so long to render aid? I don't know if it would have saved his life, but that will always be the question. And Akron cannot continue to operate like this. And I've said this on this council floor before, and I stand by it. I support our police because we have good police officers on the force. But sometimes change has to come by our leaders being radical if we want real change. I listened to, or either I read, I think maybe it was a press conference, I can't exactly remember, that Chief Harding had. And he said that they were introducing ICAT training. Well, the very organization, PERF, that instituted that training found the training to be flawed because the supervisors in the police departments weren't following through. Now, I don't know if they revisited it and redid the program, but we need to know how that program is going to work here in Akron, how we're going to follow up on that program to make sure it is working right. But right now, like I said, the very organization that instituted it across the United States found that it was a flawed program to offer, okay? We can change policies.
I just want to say one thing. I'm watching this video and I have nothing wrong to say about this woman speaking. I'm watching the people that she's looking at right now or looking towards where it stopped. What the hell's with the woman slumping so down far in her chair? What the hell is that? This guy's on his phone behind her. The guy to her right is, wasn't looking in his friend's ear a minute before, but he is now. And this guy doesn't even want to be here. You can tell that. But the woman, that what the hell? What is she doing? She's just frumping down in her chair. She's like sinking in a hole. There, ew.
All day long. We have plenty of policies in Akron across the United States. We're at a point we got to change mindsets.
Yeah, cold turkey.
Mindsets change culture. I had shared with Chief Harding a while back before this incident ever occurred, because I try to see, are we doing any of this work? we're going to have to look to the sciences,
The
okay?
emperor, I like it.
On how, this
Or-
book is Taming the Serpent. It was written by a former police.
Jabba the Hutt or Pizza the Hutt, if you're into the more Star Wars kind of thing.
Police officer, and it's how neuroscience can revolutionize modern law enforcement training. I would encourage all of our leaders, I gave this to our mayor too a year ago. Take a look at this. I'm not hearing this from our leadership. I'm just hearing policies. We got to do this. We got to do that. Again, sometimes change comes about by being radical. And I consider myself a person that tries to hear all sides of the argument before I make.
Sometimes you got to be radical. The guy to her right, figured out, told her to say something, and then she says, sometimes you got to be radical.
A conclusion, but after thinking about this and after talking about it with people that I trust, I'm going to call for Mayor Malik to be radical. Officer Fields needs to be terminated, okay? And
Okay, Mayor Malik is a BLM sympathizer, an Antifa sympathizer. I call him shameless because his name is Seamus Malik, and that's my mayor. I didn't vote for him. I don't trust him. She's going to call on shameless. Let me put it. Let me put it in the chat here. Shameless Malik or Seamus Malik, and he's not from Northeast Ohio or something or whatever. He's not Amish, and I can't type whatever. Anyways, let them tell you what it is. I can't type.
let the chips fall where they may. And I pray for Officer Fields. Don't misunderstand me, as well as I pray for that family. But until Akron has some radical change, we're going to be back here again. I have grandchildren that are that age. We've got to do better, Akron. We're throwing daggers at each other. We're back and forth. And I get it. I get the protesters. I appreciate them. But at some point in time, everybody has to come to the table and understand that we don't all agree, but we got to strike a balance. And now is that time, or it's never going to come. So again, I encourage you guys to look at the sciences. You've got the Society for Neuroscience, you got Harvard University, you got Oxford University, you got MIT, you got leading institutions that are telling you this is what you need to do. Let's take a look at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Are there any other comments at this time? Councilwoman Mobley, now I'll yield to you first.
We should yield to the youth. Akron, we have a problem. And I say that we have a problem because we really do, and we've been talking about this for some time now. I'm deeply concerned about the unnecessary loss of life caused by the actions of police officers. Every life is valuable, and law enforcement officers must be held to the highest standards of accountability and restraint in their use of force. It is imperative that we demand transparency, thorough investigations, and meaningful reforms to ensure justice and prevent further tragedies. Protecting and serving the community should always prioritize the dignity and safety of all individuals. You know, I like the councilwoman who just said, I looked at the videotape. I find them to be very disturbing and sometimes hard to piece together when you look at them on a small camera. But what I don't understand, and I continue to ask this question, is that there are lots of ways in which you can get the attention of a suspect. No one thought about shooting in the air to scare the young man to stop if he was, running or moving. We have a 15-year-old child who unfortunately felt the need to carry a loaded gun. But nobody is talking about the fact that the loaded gun was zipped in his inside pocket. I mean, the officers could not even see the gun based on everything I've heard and understand about the case. But yet he posed a threat. And I've said repeatedly on this floor and in other sessions, we have a problem with some of our officers coming in face to face with some of our Black men. And no matter how big they look, many of them are children. This is a 15-year-old child who unfortunately happens to be an identical twin. And we have to hold the officers accountable. Now, I'm not even sure how you have officers who are running around with rifles that are unauthorized. Now, that's what I understand is that they have handguns, but some of the officers have gone about purchasing rifles and they're pulling them out of their car and using them. Now, my question is, we have to expect more from our leadership. Now, I have been trying to give Chief Brian Harding the benefit of a doubt and give him time to grow into the position, because one of the most difficult things to do, and I've learned this over my 30-some years of being in administration and supervision, is to supervise people that you were once colleagues with. And obviously, he's having a challenging time holding some of these officers accountable. Now, we can talk about the investigation that they're going to do in Columbus, but I want the FOP to join us in helping us train our officers, update their training, helping them understand. And I want all of us to do what we've been talking about needing to do. Let's engage in some diversity training, because we're talking about more than just the fact that we're killing, but we're killing Black boys and Black men. If we were killing a whole multiracial group of folks, then I would say that we have a real problem just with all of our citizens. But we have a problem, folks, with some of our officers being face to face with young Black men or Black men in general. That is a real concern for me. So one of the things I'm asking for Chief Harding at this point to show us that he can do the job, that he can hold his officers accountable, that he can supervise them, he can make some changes and tell this council what changes are being made. And I'm asking the FOP to join us in doing this. We need to know what's in the contract, folks. We need to know the reforms that are either made or proposed. We need to look at all of these things before we start looking at renewing another contract and all the things that we continue to do. So please, I think it's time for all of us to talk about what we see happening in Akron. We cannot afford to continue to have officers out there, not even turning on the body-worn cameras that we pay money for them to wear. If the other officers hadn't shown up with their sirens, we wouldn't have seen anything on videotape based on what I understand. We have a problem, Akron, and we need to do something about it.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I just want to give some comments, and then I will go to Councilman Garrett and then to Councilman DeSazier. I first want to say, because I know we have a few of our Akron police officers in the room today, and I just want to say thank you, because I could not do your job. I could not imagine, every morning getting up, putting on your uniform, and doing what you do to protect and serve the residents of Akron. And I know many of you who do that with excellence. You go over and beyond the call of duty. And I want to say thank you. And when officers do the right thing, we should commend them. They should be celebrated. But when they do the opposite, we need to hold them accountable. And there needs to be consequences. When I watched the video, it was heartbreaking and it was extremely disturbing to see the fact that there was a failure to turn on the body cam. I was one of the council members who voted to make sure that every Akron police officer had body cam so that we could avoid things just like this, to make sure that we protected not only the officers, but we protected Akron residents. And the fact that the body cam was not turned on, it was disturbing to me that the fact that a rifle was used instead of a handgun. And I think the thing that was most troubling to me was how long it took to render aid to Jasmine. To see him laying there and no one did anything. That should be a fireable offense. And you've heard it over and over again. We find ourselves in these positions far too often, and we need to start doing something different. So I am asking Mayor Malik, who is the mayor of this city, chief officer of this city, to do the right thing. And to say what we saw on that body cam is not reflective of our Akron Police Department. And it should not be happening in this city. Councilman Garrett.
Thank you, Madam President. I echo your sentiment. Our top law enforcement official, our mayor, should immediately fire this gentleman. Officer Fields should not be an officer in our ranks. He should not be able to carry that badge. Madam President, my heart goes out to the Tucker family. I pray for that family. Their 15-year-old baby should not be laying in the morgue tonight because he never, ever, ever brandished a weapon. Never brandished a weapon at all in an open carry state. My heartfelt prayers also, Madam President, go out to the brave men and women of our police force who protect and serve our citizens every single day. But Madam President, there are other bad actors and other folks in the police that gives them such a bad name. Officer Fields, Madam President, should be fired immediately. He failed to turn on his sirens that would have activated his body camera. Madam President, he failed to turn on his body cameras while retrieving his modified wartime military-style assault rifle with a scope. I have a scope. I can see what I'm shooting. I can see my target. As a prior military veteran, with a scope, I can see what I'm shooting at, Madam President. I can see if I want to hit this kid, this young child, this 15-year-old boy. I can see if I can take my 5.56 AR round, flesh-tearing round, and just tear this young black boy's body apart. I can see that. This officer could see it through his scope. He knew what he was doing. Modified wartime military-style weapon that I used when I was overseas. They bring these back home to kill our young boys. Trust me, there are some good officers. But Madam President, these bad ones, we have to really put real pressure on our mayor, who doesn't have a problem at all with firing the net, doesn't have a problem with firing folks he don't want on his cabinet. Imagine a police officer drives down and get dead drunk and run over a kid tonight. That person would be fired. This person Officer Field ripped that young black boy's skin apart, fired 6 shots, and I'm not sure with his military-style weapon if it had even been inspected. When I was in the military, you pull one round, one comes out. He fired 6 shots, perhaps with one pull of that trigger. Who's to say it was a silencer on the end of it? It was a Call of Duty style execution, Madam President. And I pray for that family. That boy laid out for 10 minutes, Madam President, and bled out. A body has 1.5, 1.2 gallons of blood in their body. Half of his laid out on South High School field. Half of it just there. That young black boy did not deserve this. While no one rendered aid, dereliction of duty, failure to supervise. There was a supervisor there, Madam President, with the ballistic shield that could have rendered aid, but instead they sat back and did nothing while this little black boy laid on Thanksgiving evening like a turkey, bleeding out. Even during my military experience, Madam President, there were some egregious incidents, Madam President. Those actions warranted immediate discipline, and a court-martial couldn't wait. Court-martial couldn't wait, Madam President. This is one of those actions. Our mayor should not wait. He's concerned about possibly a lawsuit coming back. The person he has over patrol is Officer Leeser. The same officer we wanted to give a $400,000 buyout because we really didn't want him on the force. If you think he's going to come out and say, chastise, correct, offer corrective measures to what these officers did? Absolutely not. Thinks it's okay for them not to activate their body camera. Thinks it's okay for them to take a modified wartime military-style rifle and rip a 15-year-old kid, rip the flesh right off his bone. Because if he did have a problem with it, he would come out and say it. If Chief Harding had a problem with it, he'll come out and say it. The mayor has the power to do it, Black folks, white folks, Hispanic folks. Ask my colleagues to put pressure on the mayor to do the right thing. He's quick to shut down Juneteenth, but when it comes to the real block issues that affect us, he's silent, he's weak, he's not trying to really render the real aid, similar like his police force. There's aid that could be rendered to us right now. That family shouldn't have to wait 6 months for a decision. They should not have to do that, Madam President. I'm passionate about our young Black boys, Madam President, just like my colleague Sharon Connors is passionate about parks. I have so much respect for my buddy Brad McKittrick. He and I talked before I came out here today. And we just sat and hugged because sometimes we can agree or disagree. But Madam President, I ask that my colleagues support me in asking for the firing of Officer Fields today. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Garrett. Councilman DeSazier?
Well, good evening, everybody. I too come with a heavy heart today. I know that people have talked about this situation that we're in.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the video of what happened that night, why don't I go ahead and play it? This is the full video. Earlier in the live tonight, I played a short video. This is the full video of what happened that night. So let's take a look at it. This is brought to us by WKYC Channel 3 News. And I am using this under the fair rights to share these videos. So let's check out what the full video is.
On Thursday, November 28, 2024, at 10:39 p.m., two officers were parked and sitting inside their marked police cruiser at East Avenue and Vernon Odom Boulevard, working on a report from a prior unrelated call. At 11 p.m., officers called over the radio with an emergency after hearing gunshots fired nearby. They exited their cruiser to investigate. Moments later, they encountered an individual in the 1000 block of East Avenue. The body-worn camera footage shows the officers pursuing the individual on foot. Seconds later, one officer discharges his firearm. Body-worn cameras do not provide a 360-degree or three-dimensional view. We will now play 3 body-worn camera videos and 1 in-car video.
Hey, Mile High, welcome to the live. Appreciate you coming in. Hope you like what's going on. Well, there's nothing to like here. I mean, this is coverage of Akron police shooting a 15-year-old child. All right, where is it? There we go. Sorry about that. I enjoy playing World of Warships, but not while I'm doing a live. But look at this. 30 seconds that the body cam's on silent. In that 30 seconds, this officer fires 8 rounds into the back of a 15-year-old. Did he have time to say, stop, put your hands up, drop the gun? Wait, where do they find the gun?
Stop moving! Stop moving! Put your hands out to your side! Put your hands up!
This
Get back online on me.
Disgusting.
On me. Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Hands out to side!
Officer safety is officer cowardice. And this is a good display of officer cowardice. The officer's body cam, who you're watching, already fired off 8 rounds into the back of the 15-year-old subject. The other 8 to 10 officers that are around him as they approach, their body cameras are not released yet at this time. Akron Police and the City of Akron, the Prosecutor's Department, they are not releasing this. This is going to be investigated by an outside source, the Ohio Bureau of Investigation.
20 signals, 21. Hold on him.
Put your hands out to your side. Hands out your
Northbound
side.
traffic. Push out to the right. Nope. On me. Push out to the right. He's reaching right with his right hand.
We're in front of the school on East Avenue, north south.
Again, he was reaching with his right hand.
Okay.
We need someone to check the parking lot behind us. That's where he was shooting.
Okay. We need you guys to hold
push to the right.
Okay? Yep, hold here. Where is there anybody else behind you?
Not that I seen.
I didn't see anybody in the parking lot coming out. Hands out to the side.
Push to the right. We need that backstop.
Put your hands out to the side.
Push to the right.
Push to the right.
Again, he was reaching with his right hand.
Hands out to your side, suspect.
Right here. Stop right here. Put.
In Mile High, supposedly, of these 8 to 10 officers that you're you're going to see one or two of them heard shots fired. And they end up closing up on a 15-year-old kid who ends up having a pistol in his pocket. It doesn't look like they planted it there, but you never know. But there's a 15-year-old kid with a gun in his pocket, but it doesn't prove that he was shooting. They don't show at any point in any of these videos, but they are holding the rest of the videos for the independent investigation. So hopefully they see, what happened. And this officer here with his AR-15, who fired off the 8 rounds into that child's back, he sees what he deserves.
Put your hands out to your side. Hey, 2 of you break away. Go check that parking lot behind us for suspect for victims.
Break away. I got one person taking.
No, stay with me. Copy.
Hands out to your side. Put your hands out your side. Suspect, put your hands out your side. Do it now. Keep giving them command one at a time. Hands out your side. Put your arms out. Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Stay on him.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Have that cruiser push south and block that traffic.
They're saying, suspect, put your hands out to your side. Put your hands out to your side. 8 rounds have gone into this young man. This 15-year-old young man has been hitting with 8 rounds. It's all crazy. This is insane. And put your hands to your side. Are you insane? He can't move.
Put your hands out your side.
Have someone block north at East Avenue.
Suspect, put your hands out to the
Stay on
side.
him. Stay on him. On him. Hey, get 2 people to check that parking lot. Right next to the building is where he was shooting.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side. Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Does anybody have a shield?
Henry, you doing that?
Hey, can you? Oh, you have one. Cool. Let's grab that shield. He has it.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side. Suspect, put your hands out to your side. Get your hands out to your sides. Do it now.
Keep giving commands.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side. Put your hands out to your side. Get your hands out your side. Suspect, put your hands out to your side. Get your hands out your side.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, let's get some cover.
Yep.
This guy has a firearm. Let's get some cover. You got numbers?
Yep, move back.
You got numbers?
Let's get some cover. I mean, let's get some cover. I wonder if anybody has a shield. Can somebody provide me with a shield so the 8 to 10 of us can approach a man that, our buddy shot? Can you all provide me with a shield?
Just push to the right. Hold on. Stop. You guys can break off. Swing to the right. Yep. We got a rifle. You two, stay up. You got it. Stay up. Yep. Come on. Watch your step.
Stay on.
Keep pushing.
You got a, looks like the firearm is right hip. It's right hip next to the white.
Step, come behind the, step, come over. Pull over. Yep, there you go. Keep pushing.
You got a second skill jet?
I have one at my cruiser, but it's over at Metro.
On his way. When it's 45 seconds out. You wait for another field, we'll take a line up.
Are we still chasing after a suspect?
Native suspects down.
Are we still chasing after him? No. No, he's down. He's just taking a nap. He's just laying there in the grass. You know, he must have got stung by a mosquito or something. You know, in the body camera shows nothing but their guns, their rifles. This is ridiculous. You know, yeah, actually, charges are being brought up on this officer, but who knows what will happen with that.
To the west of the school, in the middle of the field. I did.
Oh, wait, Jug, you meant, yeah. Officers' feelings, officers' safety, officers' cowardice.
We're still waiting on another shield.
All right, let's get the other shield up here.
I have a rifle too. Who else has a rifle?
I do.
All right, you want to get online with
Let's
me?
get rifles. Let's get shields. Where's the other shield at?
I think he's behind you.
Got another shield. Okay, just go hands to cuff. You got gloves on? Yep. Get gloves.
Grab one more for hands.
Hey, let's get two. You have two for hands.
Secure that right hand first. That's the hand he's reaching with.
There's a black object by his right hip.
He's reaching with his right hand. He has 8 bullets in his back. He's not here anymore. He's just laying there. And he's reaching. He's reaching. What the?
Let me know when you guys got two hands. We got 3 shields. 3 shields. All right.
You want me to hold?
Go.
You want rifles to hold or push with? Go down. Go down. We go.
Please put your hands out to the side.
You got additional hands. I'm on the right.
Yep. You got hands.
Push up, push up.
Go.
Hold on, secure his hands first.
Something's wrong.
They shot him. They took 12 minutes to walk up to him, and now they're going to roll him around, search his pockets, look for anything they can find to incriminate him before rendering any kind of aid to a man they shot, or a young man, a child, a 15-year-old that they shot for supposedly firing off a gun. But let's see where they find the gun that he supposedly shot off, or maybe they haven't even revealed it. Did he have something in his hand? We don't know. We have no clue because Akron police are hiding everything as they normally do.
Right here. Yep, I'm not sure what it is. What's up? No. Actually.
You guys keep on giving aid. You got EMS is coming.
Ever wonder how constitutional carry affects your right to carry and your right to self-defense? We're hosting a 100%.
Oh, did I pause it? Oh no, it's the silence on the body cam before the 30 seconds that it goes live. I think all body cameras should never be turned off, and they should always have the audio on, and you should be charged with a felony if you should turn them off.
Stop moving. Put your hands out to your side. Put your hands up. Get back online on me. Put your hands out. Put your hands out. Hands out your side. 21. Hold on him. Put your hands out to your side. Hands out your side. Push out to the right. So, push out to the right. He was reaching right with his right hand. Again, he was reaching.
Listen to how this guy's breathing. And then the other guy's like, he's reaching. He's not moving.
Reaching with his right hand. We need someone to check the parking lot behind us. That's where he was shooting. Okay. We need you guys to push to the right. Where is there anybody else behind you? Not that I see.
I didn't see anybody in the parking lot coming up.
Hands out to the side. Push to the right. We need that backstop. Put your hands out to the side. Push to the right. Push to the right. Find you. When you check the parking lot, just north. We're gonna see up people like that. Again, he was reaching with his right hand. Hands out to your side, suspect. Right here, right here. Yeah. Put your hands out to your side.
Yeah, I 100% agree. You go in for your shift, you pick up your body camera, you put it on your chest, it turns on, and it does not turn off until you clock out and you put it back down on the charger. We have SD cards that are big enough for 14, 30, 40 hours of recording. And this is insane. Record everything you do. You are accountable to us. You are supposed to uphold laws. You violate our rights on a constant basis. And this is disgusting.
Hey, two of you break away. Go check that parking lot behind us first. Hey guys, one person take.
Can you break away?
Hey guys, one person take him there. They're gonna get a shield so we can walk up and secure him. Grab it. Keep in the command state.
Don't raise hands out.
Hands out to your side. Keep in the command. Hands out to your side.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Do it now. Keep giving them commands one at a time. Hands out to your side. Put your arms out.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Still him. Suspect, put your hands out to your side now. Have that cruiser push south. Block that traffic. Put your hands out to your side. Have someone block north at East Avenue. Suspect, put your hands out to the side.
On him.
Hey, get your hands out to check that parking lot. Right next to the building is where he was shooting.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side. Does anybody have a shield?
Hunter, you do in the car.
Hey, put your hands out to your side. Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Get your hands out to your side. Do it now. Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Put your hands out to your side.
And Hollywood is Holly weird to me. I haven't liked Hollywood in years, and I actually went to college to become a teacher in comprehensive sciences to teach chemistry, biology, physics, and geology. But I'm not woke, so I can't be a teacher. I can't go to your public schools and train your blue-haired children to act like idiots. I'm sorry. So I changed my major to communications and media production to make movies and videos. And in the movie production, even in local, I found that they were crazy and I didn't want to work with them. So now I make videos that are educational about our rights. Why? Because the educational community hates our rights and they didn't want me there. So, the movie community doesn't want me either. Imagine that.
Get your hands up to your side.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Get your hands up to your side. What's up? What's up?
Hey, let's get some cover.
Yep.
This guy has a firearm. Let's get some cover. We got numbers.
Push it right. Hold on.
Stop. You're online.
Think it right. We got right. You can see it.
I got you. Keep coming right, fellas. Keep coming right.
Got it. Stay online.
All right, you guys.
Looks like the firearm right there. On his right.
Yep.
Yep. I'm behind. You guys see him? Yep. Get behind you. Come over. I want him. There's a 48 right there. 48 right there. He's on his way. 45 seconds. We'll wait for another field and we'll take a line up.
Any units on East Avenue, are we still chasing after a suspect?
We're still waiting. Oh, we got another shield. All right, let's get the shield up here. Yeah. All right.
They've got another shield coming. Hey, let's raise our hands in the air. They have another shield coming.
Who else has a rifle?
I do.
All right. You want to get online and get a rifle? We'll get shield. Here's the other shield. I think it's behind right now. Get another shield. We're going home to the top. You got gloves on?
Yep, good glove.
Grab one more for hands.
And let's get two. You have two for hands.
Secure that right hand first. That's the hand he's reaching with. Then block off his leg.
He said secure the right hand. That's the hand he's reaching with. That's the hand that's sprawled out there that hasn't been moving this entire time where there's no gun. They didn't find a gun on the ground that he was reaching. They didn't find a gun on the ground that he was reaching for. They found one in a zipped up pocket, and you're going to see that. He wasn't reaching for anything.
Let me know when you guys got two. We got 3 kills. 3 kills. All right. You want me to hold? You want rifle to hold or push with? Get out. Get out.
What? Where is he? Where is Jasmine? Where is this kid? You can't see him. They purposely took the only camera options they could to not show a damn thing about what went on Thanksgiving. And look at all these damn pussies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think another 9th over there, 10 is the one we're looking at. 10 pussies. Akron Pussy Department. You disgust me. You disgust the entire nation, the entire world. You are disgusting as hell. Murderers.
Hold on, secure his hands first. Secure his hands first. Right here. No. Absolutely. Gotta keep on giving it. Yep. Got a gun. I thought, kid. What's that? We got a mech kit. Gun. Gun. What's that? Put it down. Put it down. Don't flag yourself. Yep. Just leave it.
This game, you're not ready for.
I'm muted. This is silenced for 30 seconds until the officer turns on his camera or more, until he turns not his camera, but his microphone. This needs to change. There we go.
Stop moving.
Stop moving.
Put your hands out to your side. Put your hands up. Get back on line.
Who has a really big screen monitor? I'm looking at this on a 30 some inch monitor. Do you see anybody? Do you see the kid laying in the grass there? Laying in the grass, face down. Do you see that kid laying there? And they're telling him to stop moving, and he hasn't been the entire time.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
Hands out your side.
Get off of the radio and just go if you're going.
21.
Get off of your radio and just go with your gut. Is that what I heard? Let's back this up.
Put your hands out.
Put your hands up.
Hands out your side.
Get off of the radio and just go if you're going.
Okay, get off of the radio and just go with your goal. What was their goal? Was this pre-planned? Was there an intention? Get off of the radio and just go with your goal. Those are serious words when you put it that way.
21. Hold on.
Put your hands out to your side.
Hands out your side. Hands out. Push out to the right.
Shut to the right.
Hold me.
Out to the right.
Hold here. Anybody push out to the right.
Nope, nobody has a shield.
He's reaching right with his right hand.
We got one male down. He's unresponsive, not following command. We're in front of the school on East Avenue, lower south.
Again, he's reaching with his right hand.
Okay.
We need someone to check the parking lot behind us. That's where he was shooting.
Okay. We need you guys to hold
Push to the right.
Okay.
Yep, hold on line.
Hold here. Where is there anybody else behind you?
Not
His
that I
head's
see.
moving. His head's moving.
I didn't see anybody. Suspect, hands out to the side.
Push to the right. We need that back
Suspect,
stop.
put your hands out to the side.
Push to the right.
Push to the right.
Responding unit, when you gonna check the parking lot, just go north.
Again, he was reaching with
He's
his
moving.
right hand.
Hands out to your side, suspect.
Right here. Stop right here. Put your hands out to your side.
I mean, does this remind you of Uvalde, where there's 40 police officers standing outside a school while a gunman's going around shooting children? But now it's an officer shooting a child while a group of gunmen slowly approach them, just laying there after being shot.
Hey, two of you break away. Go check that parking lot behind us for suspect.
I got one person taking
No, upstairs, man. Garbage.
Hands out to your side.
Get your hands out your side. Suspect, put your hands out your side.
Do it now.
Hands out your side.
Put your arms out.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Stay on him.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side now.
Cruiser push south. Block that traffic. Get your hands out your side. Have someone block north at East Avenue.
So we run the cruiser block north and south.
Suspect, put your hands out to the side.
Hey, get your hands out your side. Right next to the building where you shoot.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Anybody have a shield?
Negative.
Get your hands out your side.
What this is, what they're doing with their put your hands out to your sides for 10, 12 minutes after they have already shot this young man and taken his life is protecting their asses. This is a PYA attempt to protect their ass from illegally discharging their firearms on a suspect that wasn't brandishing a weapon. They couldn't prove it. The only weapon they found was in his pocket, and they shot him in the back. And yes, Mile High, they know he's passed away. They're using this time to protect their asses by adding their own BS, their narrative to make us think, which is, it's not fooling anybody, make us think that there was something going on. There's a 15-year-old lying in the grass over there face down. He's not alive. You pieces of garbage murdered him, and you're telling him to put his hands to his side and stop reaching. This is, oh my. Yeah, this is Akron. This is where I live. This is where you get arrested in libraries for filming. Luckily, they didn't do this to me, but unfortunately, they did this to this young man.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side. We've got one show on scene. Does anybody else have additional shield?
Get your hands out to your sides. Do it now.
Keep giving commands.
Suspect, put your hands out to your side.
Put your hands out to your side.
Get your hands out to your side.
You see that black over there by his right hip? Suspect, right hip? Put your hands out to your side.
Yeah, I do. Let's see it. Get your hands out your side.
What's up? What's up? Hey, let's get some cover. Yep. All right, slowly back up. Stay on line. Stay on line. Push to the right. Hold on. Stop. You guys break off.
Break off.
Swing to the right.
Swing to the right.
Yep. We'll go right. I got you. Keep coming right, man. Keep coming right. Keep coming right. Stay on.
All right, you guys. He got a, looks like the firearm says right hip. There's
Right hip next to the white. Yep, come behind the
You got shield, yep, behind the trigger.
Nope. Keep pushing. Really? Hey, sorry.
And notice how, the guy whose body cam we're watching, he keeps touching everybody, kind of pushing them forward, kind of like they're shields, because he wanted shields and they only had 2 shields. So he's got a shield on his left, he can push forward, and he's got a shield on his right, he can push forward, because the guy that's firing off the shots here, or whoever's this body cam is a what a coward. What a coward. He just stands behind people and then pushes them forward to be in front of him, blocking. And what he's doing is he's blocking his body camera, probably because he's the lead officer, and his body camera is going to be looked at first. So he pushes the younger officers, the newer officers, in front of him to block off the camera.
You got a second shield yet? I have one of my cruiser, but it's over at Metro. It's on his way. When it's 45 seconds out.
We'll wait for another shield and we'll take the lineup.
Let me get a spotlight on him.
Any units on East Avenue? Are we still chasing after a suspect?
Negative.
Who shot?
Oh, we got another shield.
All right, let's get.
They're still waiting on his shield? Did he just say we're still waiting on his shield? The fuck?
The other shield up here.
Yeah.
Who else has a rifle? I got it. Let's get rifles. Let's get shields. Where's the other shield at? Just grabbing it right now. Hey, who's going hands to cuff?
I got hands.
You got gloves on?
I can put them on.
Yep. Good gloves. Hey, let's get two. Yeah, two for hands. I got two. Who's behind me? There's a black object by his right hip. Let me know you guys got two hands.
We got 2 hands.
We got 3 shields. Cool. All right,
2 hands.
They got 3 shields and 2 hands. Did you hear that? 3 shields and 2 hands. This is 24 something. Is it?
Let me know you guys got 2 hands.
We got 2 hands.
We got 3 shields. Cool. All right.
Yep. Yep. 2 hands and 3 shields.
Who's got hands?
I got hands.
Slow down, William. Yep. Akron Police Department, put your hands out to the side. Yep. Akron Police Department, put your hands out to the side.
I got hands.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Look at this check for 100 and.
Yep.
Hands.
So you got hands? I got hands. You got hands? You got hands. Yeah, I got hands. I got hands on your back. I got hands on your shoulder. I wouldn't mind, since you're a fellow officer, putting my hands somewhere else. You nasty pigs.
Okay, who's got hands?
I got hands.
Watch your crosshair. Yep.
I got hands. I don't secure his hands first. Secure his hands first. Something is right here. I'm not sure what it is. Gun. No. Flashlight.
You guys keep on giving me. Got EMF?
Yep. Got a gun. Got a no.
Life back kit. What's that? We got to make it.
Got a gun.
Drop it down. Put it down. Put it down. Don't flag yourself. Yeah, just leave it. Get a search of them. Make sure there's another secondary weapon. Gun right here.
And notice they're searching him. They did shoot him 8 times. They're not rendering anything for his wounds. The chief of police, the people's chief of Akron, Ohio, who says he'll talk to people who will not answer any of my messages, said that they were putting on chest compression immediately. Let's look for chest compression stuff,
Here goes. Everybody needs to do. Everybody needs to do. Watch the one and you all the way down. Remember, search for weapons. No weapons is fine.
Okay.
Jacket, undo jacket. Use second jacket.
Okay. Let me go and try my shoes.
Right here.
I got shoes. I got shoes.
Yep.
Again, before they really blurred that out, you see exit wounds on his chest. Exit wounds, not entry wounds, exit wounds on his chest because he was shot in the back.
Taking a bite.
There's the what you got. EMS is here. Thanks, Trace. EMS is still here. So let it go. On stuff.
The officer involved is nearly a 5-year veteran of the Akron Police Department. Per departmental procedure, the officer involved has been placed on paid administrative leave. The investigation will be conducted by the State of Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation. After the investigation is completed, the case will be turned over to the Ohio Attorney General's office for review before being submitted to the Summit County Grand Jury for evaluation. The entire investigation will be posted on the Ohio Attorney General's office website upon final disposition. A separate internal investigation will be conducted by the Akron Police Office of Professional Standards and Accountability. The results of their investigation will be provided to the police chief and the City of Akron police auditor for their review.
And that's what leads us back to this City of Akron Council meeting that was going on earlier. Let's look at the final parts of the meeting.
I've oftentimes said that Akron is the high place. People look to us for leadership. And I'm not sure how we got to this point, but I do know that we need to change the scenario so that we can become the shining example of how we are going to lead Akron and Ohio out of the wilderness. Now, in terms of the police, I don't get down on police. I'm old enough that I went to segregated schools in Georgia. And the only way I got to school was the police would pick me up from my grandmother's house and they would take me to school. And my mother told me that on both sides, there are people who love you so much that they would die to see you get a good education. And Officer Junior Franklin would pull up to our house at 810 North Troop Street with a smile, and he'd take me to school. Today, I'm here because I want to serve my community. I want to be a shining example for people here. I am an African-American male. I have a 15-year-old grandson who is the same age as Jasmine Tucker. My heart goes out to the Tucker family, but I don't know the answer. I do know we have a system that we put in place, and a lot of us have labored long and hard in the vineyards to bring this process to some kind of conclusion. We hired a police auditor to go back and to look at all of these situations and to give us a true opinion. Somebody who doesn't work for the mayor, who doesn't work for this council, who does not work for the police department.
You know, the funny thing, I applied for the independent auditor position for the city of Akron. I applied. But why am I not considered? I could tell you why. Can you figure it out?
Honest opinion. It's called an independent auditor. I'm not telling anybody today that I have enough information to make a decision, but I prioritize life. And I know now that we stand in the vestibule to 200 years of Akron being a place that we can all honor and respect. I'm praying with and for everybody in this community. Yesterday, I remember being at church and people were feeling just like I was. I felt like blood was dripping out of my heart because I know that this is something that we don't deserve. I know that the Tucker family doesn't deserve it. And I know that this community should not be drugged down because we don't deserve it. We're a loving community, but we got to get it right. I'm not sure what the answer is, but I do know that I'm listening for the review. I want to know what the issues are that the FBI will unfold. I want to read all of what has been found and to see what conclusions have been made. I started a group here in Akron several years ago, along with my fraternity brothers. It's called Project Alpha. And the purpose of it was to work with our young men. For 17 years, I worked every day, 13 to 19 years old. And one of the things we talked about was relationships. The relationship to your parents, to the principal at your school, to the police in your community, to the old lady who lives down the street. I mean, we're at a critical point where we must do something. People who hadn't said anything probably haven't because they don't have enough information. I'm one of those people too. But I know that we have to continuously unwrap this situation and come to some conclusion, because we as the leaders of this city just can't sit by and watch and expect it to change without us speaking up.
You know, he's talking about we're all about peace and everything, but he's with the people outside screaming about let's burn down this city, let's bust out all these windows, let's go lynch all these cops. He's not about peace. And I guarantee you, if I was to show up with a camera and record him, he would not be peaceful. And what do you say? I go do that? And Sean Little, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Analyst Media, awesome. Jug, love you. Thank you so much for being here. We're only going to be here for a little while longer. I mean, how long can these people talk? They don't allow us. By the way, they don't allow you, City of Akron, for their YouTube channel. You cannot comment on their channel. You can comment here. You can comment anything you want. Just let the City of Akron Council know what you think about these meetings. I'm going to keep recording them, keep posting them, and sharing them with all of you. And pretty soon I will show up in one of them.
I'm going to say, God bless you. God bless Akron. God bless this council. God bless this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there anything else coming before Councilman Hannah?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I'd like to say and send my condolences to the Tucker family. And I'm very upset that another 15-year-old Black youth has been shot, one being killed by APD. It is troublesome to know that Akron is on the verge of paying out a large lawsuit involving Jalen Walker.
Okay. He just said that 15-year-old black male, young black male was killed by 8 police officers, but no, it was one who fired 8 rounds. And then 8 or so, weak pussy officers followed him up to, inspect the body to look for incriminating evidence.
Mayor Malik is thinking about getting insurance to help pay for these lawsuits. We're going to need that. We're going to need the insurance to help pay for the lawsuits that might be coming down the pipeline. Let me make it clear. It is just as wrong for Ray Ray to kill Pookie as it is for the Akron police to kill another Black youth in our community. I know sometimes it is only a split second for the officers to make a decision to shoot a suspect, but this is happening too often in our neighborhoods. Mothers and fathers, I'm speaking to all the mothers and fathers in Akron. Please teach your children the danger of having guns in the streets of Akron. These shootings are not bringing about good community relations. I just asked last week about de-escalations in the community.
They don't know
And that
anything
should
about
be
it.
used in a lot of the situations that involve our youth and also in the Black communities. These killings on both sides must stop. Please pray for the deceased family, Jasmine Tucker.
Councilman Fusco?
Thank you, President. I join my colleagues in praying for the family. It's the frequency of gun violence in our city is astronomical. Throughout the country, it's astronomical. The amount of illegal guns in our city is unbelievable. So far this year, our police department has confiscated over 900 illegal guns. It's almost 3 a day. 3 a day. I believe in this particular, in this moment, there is more questions than answers. I have nothing but respect for my colleagues here. And I understand.
This guy, let me just, I'm doing something here. Does that look like him? Is that this guy? The police reacted to me when I filmed. Where is it? When I filmed this guy, they were reacting to me like, you know, and it seemed like he might be a bigwig in the city. I think that guy is that guy. What do you think? Anyways, let's get back to this.
I try to understand where you're coming from in terms of asking Mayor Malik to make this decision. However, though, I believe that we all have due process. We all deserve this in our country, due process. Even if you wear a blue uniform, you have due process. That's a right here in our country. I believe that the amount of the footage itself, there's no questions. It raised more questions. I'm not trained in terms of how to decipher, one view 3 times, basically the same thing over and over. I don't know what happened during that moment in time and what led up to that moment in time. That's what BCI will decipher. So much more in terms of answers will be will be provided at that time. However, in all sincerity, this is so troubling. It's so heartbreaking in our city. But in all sincerity, making threats to one another that we've been hearing about is not the path. That's not the path here in our city. We've done work in terms of trying to reduce the amount of gun violence. There's so much more we've got to do. There's so much more. And we do need to work together. And thank you for the recommendation. I will definitely read that book. But in this time, in this moment, today, just asking for, please, let's try to communicate. Let's try to be patient in terms of getting those answers that we need. And we deserve, the family deserves, for God's sake, the family deserves that. And so do us. And so, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Davis?
Mr. Hanna, you mentioned insurance. Who's going to insure Akron? That's not going to happen, okay? And I hear a lot about parenting. My husband died when my kids were 7 and 8 years old. I have a son, I have a daughter. They're in their 40s now. They're very successful. They were doing well, okay? So I was that mom, I was that mom. I knew where they were. I knew what they were doing. They lived a relatively decent middle-class life. They graduated. They went to Akron U. But right after graduation, who remembers the Pelican Cove, the bar? I get a call from the Akron Police Department. My son is arrested because he had guns in the car. He wasn't trained like that, not by me. But he had guns in the car. But what I did do, I said, okay, he's okay. I hung up the phone. He was there, I think, for 4 days. I wasn't getting him out. So if anything, we have to quit babysitting our kids. But that same kid, because I gave him that tough love, is very, very, very successful living in Houston, Texas. And I just rise to say, we got parents, single parents that's working every day trying to take care of their children. And they do the best job that they can. So let's not beat up on them. Let's help them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Amobian?
I've been sitting here listening. I think what people are looking for from us is, what are we going to do? We keep talking about needing to talk about what we see, all of this racial disturbance, all of this killing of our Black boys. What are we going to do? Are we going to start having some expectations of the police chief, of ourselves, in terms of trying to have sessions on trying to get a better understanding of what's going on here? Because for us to just ignore, pretend that we don't see what's happening, it's happening too frequently. And we need to get a better understanding, get our arms around it. Maybe our diversity officer can give us some direction in terms of sessions that we can have together as a council. I know we've had a retreat, and maybe it's time for us to have another one, Madam President, I don't know. But we need to start having some sessions to talk about what is the plan? What are we going to do, as opposed to just talking about this? Because we see what's happening. And we've talked about issue 10 and what's in issue 10 about the training. I've not heard, I know every time they come here, the officer comes here and say they're applying for another grant about training. I'm asking the question, what kind of training is this? Is this new updated training? What are we going to do? And I think that would be extremely helpful for us to talk about something, so that the citizens know that we're working on something, trying to change attitudes, mindsets, and whatever the case may be, because we got to make some changes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And I think it starts with accountability. We can change all the policies, we can do all the training that we want, but until we hold officers accountable for doing the right thing, doing the wrong thing, that's what we got to do. Councilman Fusco?
If I could, just that, talking to folks in the community, and I agree with you, talking to police officers, talking to people in the community, I just think that what we need to do is gather the information in reference to what occurred, gather the information, educate ourselves, understand exactly what happened, and if this individual that took the shot from the police department is in the wrong, BCI will tell us that. That is whenever the decision to fire that individual. And if you talk to people within the police department and people within our community, they agree that that is what needs to happen if this person has had these, all the rumors, and that's what it is right now until we find out the facts, and which is going to be conducted by individuals who are trained in this. As I admit, I don't have experience in this, so therefore, I'm one that's going to wait for information before making decisions. But again, I must agree with Linda Mobian on this in terms of, continuing to ask the question. There has been things that we've done in our city. There's been things that have done all over the country in terms of the gun violence that we see out there. But so far, no one has figured it out. Unfortunately, I think there is some answers out there, and the federal government and our state government refuses to do anything whatsoever. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Amobian?
Really, you guys don't think that guy that was just speaking is this guy? Wait.
How are you doing tonight? What's the matter? Can I help you? What does that mean? Dude, you should get that looked at. You got a problem.
I'm pretty sure that's that guy. I'm pretty sure that's him. This guy right here. I'm pretty sure that's him.
Just one more comment. I don't even know what's in the contract with FOP. I mean, not the FOP, I'm sorry, with the police department. Perhaps we could start there, getting a better understanding. Is there something we can do contractually to put some enforcement in place? I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. What can we really do, put teeth in something to show that we're making some directional change?
Nothing.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you. Councilman Garrett?
Thank you, Madam President. One of the things that we can do, Madam President, is we can put pressure on our current mayor. Similar to Mayor Horgan, he fired the police right off the bat. It's really time for this gentleman to be fired. Madam President, he failed dereliction of duty. He failed to turn his body camera on. That would have answered all our questions. That would have answered every single freaking question that we have today. And therefore, he should be fired. I mean, I really implore that my colleagues really apply pressure on Mayor Mallett. He's a new mayor. He ran on issue 10. He ran on public safety. Now he's running away from it. I mean, right now, Madam President, that baby is laying in the morgue with bullet holes ripped through his body, his flesh, losing blood, laying in the field over at South High. Blood still there. And yet we're still talking about what could we possibly do. What can be done right now is the mayor of Akron could do what he promised to keep us safe. There's more gun violence right now. There's a young man that goes to my barber school. His son was the one killed in Patterson Park. The mayor can't even keep us safe. He can't even keep us safe for the Juneteenth event. He can't keep us safe. He can't offer us any assurance that this officer is going to just sit at home on a state vacation, get paid all of this money, and then come back to the force. What are we doing, Madam President? And in terms of the insurance and in terms of bankrupting our city, Where are we going to get the money from? We don't have any money for any football fields to hang out with the kids, but we're getting ready to pay millions of dollars one more time for this kid. Get shot in the back, Madam President. Getting shot in the back, Madam President, with a military-style assault rifle, not police department issued. I just implored my colleagues to really sit back and think about this. Use our power, put pressure on Mayor. Have this guy fired immediately, Madam President. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Councilman Garrett. Is there anything else coming before council at this time? There's a motion to adjourn. No objections, meeting adjourned.
This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Margot Somerville, President of Council, presiding.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to call on Mayor Shamus Malik to try and make some new laws that's going to make it safer. I tell you what, parents, why don't you teach your children, to be safer, regardless of the fact that, these police, shot this 15-year-old in the back. He still had a gun on him, and at 15, you shouldn't have one on you. Why was this? I know it doesn't show a gun in his hand, and I'm not making an excuse for these piece of shit cops. But why does this 15-year-old have a gun in his pocket? It's 21 years old to own a handgun. It's 18 to own a rifle. I understand we have a Second Amendment right, but the 15-year-olds, they're not adults. This is a truly sad event. These officers that were involved, all of them need to be fired, regardless that only one of them took shots. All the others watched it happen. They all stood by it and they did nothing while all this disgusting nature took place. Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back for another live sometime soon. Love you all. Let's keep fighting for our rights and always film the police.